In 2018, the ACLU filed a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission of the United States. I'm going to read a few excerpts from it now. Charge of discrimination. This charge of discrimination challenges Facebook's violations of federal, state, and local laws that prohibit employers and employment agencies from engaging in sex discrimination, including discrimination based on gender identity, in employment advertising, recruitment, and hiring, including Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, as amended, etc., and all state and local anti-discrimination statutes that have parallel prohibitions on sex discrimination in employment. The following image shows the three mandatory filters, location, age, and gender, that the employer must select to identify the audience of Facebook users that will receive its ad. And as you can see, we've got this picture here. Location, age, gender. Facebook then executes the employer's selection of the gender of its target population by delivering the advertisement to users based on the designated choices, including designations that limit the audience to male-only or female-only Facebook users. In addition to the explicitly gender-based ad targeting option, Facebook also provides advertisers another way to target their employment ads to users based on their gender through the lookalike audience feature. The lookalike audience tool is legally indistinguishable from word-of-mouth hiring, which has long been considered a discriminatory and unlawful employment practice. Through Facebook's lookalike audiences feature, employers and employment agencies provide a list of their existing workers to Facebook, and Facebook then creates a list of Facebook users who are demographically similar to those existing workers. Then, the employer or employment agency uses the new lookalike audience list created by Facebook as the population to receive its employment ads. As Facebook explains, a lookalike audience is a way to reach new people who are likely to be interested in your business because they're similar to your best existing customers. Facebook uses traits such as location, age, gender, and interests to determine which Facebook users are similar to an advertiser's existing customers or workers. Facebook, not the advertiser, determines which prospective applicants are similar to the advertiser's existing customers or workers, and will thus be targeted to receive an ad in a lookalike audience. After the advertiser uploads its list of existing customers, Facebook will hash its data, upload it, and create the audience that will be used for the lookalike audience ad. In addition to the three mandatory categories that advertisers must select to create a Facebook ad, location, age, and gender, Facebook's detailed targeting feature allows advertisers to search for and use thousands of additional categories into which Facebook places its users in order to further limit the population of Facebook users who will receive ads. Many of these categories, when selected by advertisers as targeting inclusions or exclusions, either explicitly categorize individuals based on their sex or will have a disparate impact based on sex and will disproportionately exclude women from receiving the ads because they are directly related to or highly correlated with gender. For example, the options include such categories as single dads, single moms, soccer mom, etc. Moreover, many of the options provided reflect gender stereotypes, e.g. by providing the option to choose working moms and not working dads. The following screenshot demonstrates some of these detailed targeting groups that Facebook has made available via its ad platform, so that employers and employment agencies can include and or exclude these groups. And here's the picture with these interests and these groups. Okay, and that's all I wanted to talk about with that. So that's ACLU's complaint to the EEOC, and then they made a determination about a year later, in 2019. The U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Charging party, this is going to be a little bit legalese, but I think it's relatively easy to understand. Charging party filed a charge of discrimination alleging that respondent violated Title VII, as amended, on the basis of sex, and the Age Discrimination in Employment Act, as amended, when it advertised on Facebook for a position with its company and used language which limited the sex and age of individuals who could apply. Respondent denies that it violated Title VII and the ADEA. Evidence gathered during the investigation established that between June 2017 and December 2017, respondent advertised on Facebook with national exposure, and when doing so, it used language to limit the sex and age of individuals who were able to view the advertisement. Based upon the foregoing, whoever is writing this determination, I find reasonable cause to believe that respondent violated Title VII and the ADEA by advertising on a social media platform and limiting the audience for their advertisement to male and younger applicants. And then there were some settlements. Not just monetary settlements, but basically actions that Facebook took as a result of this. And this is the ACLU that wrote this particular document. Overview of the settlements. In the settlements, Facebook will undertake far-reaching changes and steps that will prevent discrimination in housing, employment, and credit advertising on Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger. These changes demonstrate real progress. Facebook will establish a separate advertising portal for creating housing, employment, and credit ads, which we'll call HEC ads, on Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger that will have limited targeting options to prevent discrimination. The following rules will apply to creating HEC ads. Gender, age, and multicultural affinity targeting options will not be available when creating Facebook ads. HEC ads must have a minimum geographic radius of 15 miles from a specific address or from the center of a city. Targeting by zip code will not be permitted. HEC ads will not have targeting options that describe or appear to be related to personal characteristics or classes protected under anti-discrimination laws. This means that targeting options that may relate to race, color, national origin, ethnicity, etc. will not be permitted on the HEC portal. Facebook's lookalike audience tool, which helps advertisers identify Facebook users who are similar to advertisers' current customers or marketing lists, will no longer consider gender, age, etc. when creating customized audiences for HEC ads. Advertisers will be asked to create their HEC ads in the HEC portal, and if Facebook detects that an advertiser has tried to create an HEC ad outside of the HEC portal, Facebook will block and reroute the advertiser to the HEC portal with limited options. So, in this determination, I want to point out a few things that may not be obvious and maybe analyze this a little bit. So there was no consideration of the employer's overall hiring practices in this determination, from what I can tell, and it was also not mentioned in the ACLU complaint. So if a company was excluding females in their advertisements because they already employed mostly females and they wanted to have more of a gender balance in their employees, that doesn't matter. It's still a legal discrimination based on this determination, from what I understand. So nursing is an example of a field where most of the employees are women. Only 9.1% of registered nurses are men. So hospitals looking to hire specifically male nurses may not do so through targeted advertising. The ACLU complaint primarily talked about discrimination in favor of men, but discrimination in favor of women is presumably the same under the law. So if a company in a male-dominated field, or any field really, is looking to hire females, they may not do so through targeted advertising. So based on this, besides digital ads, what else constitutes targeted advertising? It makes me think where this might go. In theory, advertising in person is not materially different from advertising online, because in both cases you're telling people about an employment opportunity. So if a company were to purposely choose to advertise in person to a group of people based on that group's demographics, that is also illegal discrimination, because it's specifically because it's advertising employment opportunities. So I wanted to examine a couple of companies that, based on this standard, may also be discriminating illegally. So Google first. They say, our approach to diversity, equity, and inclusion. As Google continues to grow, we have a responsibility to scale our diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives to increase pathways to tech in the communities we call home. Here's how we're approaching that work. And they say, we are building a robust, diverse talent pool to support our industry's growth. It's not clear exactly what that means, and further reading doesn't get too much into specifics. But a relevant example, I think, is this summit in 2019, Google Women Tech Makers 2019 International Women's Day Summit. The summit, hosted by Google's Women Tech Makers program, is a day-long event featuring speakers, panel discussions, hands-on workshops, and networking, all centered on celebrating the contributions of women in tech. International Women's Day is marked on March 8th every year. In different regions, the focus of celebrations ranges from general respect and appreciation for women to a celebration of women's economic, political, and social achievements. Each of the summits and meetups will be tailored to local communities of women in technology. The summits and meetups around the world may feature hands-on coding, workshops, inspiring speakers, and networking opportunities. So this is not explicitly, the purpose of this, I should say, is not explicitly to advertise jobs. but that may be a component of this. Networking opportunity seems to be it's possible that's an aspect to this. And then women tech makers, which is what this summit is associated with. Google's Women Tech Makers program provides visibility, community, and resources for women in technology. Join the movement. Membership empowers women in their careers by providing access to curated resources and events, as well as information and tools from Google, our partners in the global tech ecosystem. Again, it's not clear that that includes job ads, regular emails tailored to your interests to help you to succeed and thrive in your tech career, featuring resources from women tech makers, Google, and the global tech ecosystem. So it's possible that content that could help women succeed in their careers could include job advertisements. It's just not stated here explicitly, perhaps because it doesn't include that, or perhaps because this is just a general statement. And then Amazon, hiring the best talent. To find the best talent for technical and non-technical roles, we actively partner with organizations and academic institutions that reach underrepresented communities. Some examples of our efforts to recruit women globally and underrepresented racial and ethnic minority talent in the US include recruiting from diverse colleges and universities, including women's colleges, bringing college students, which may be from women's colleges, to Amazon's campus for programs like the Amazon Finance Diversity Leadership Summit, to learn more from our finance and accounting leaders, and to interview for finance internships at Amazon. So it's almost certain that that involves job advertisement. And then it continues, partnering with organizations like GEM Consortium Fellows, Afrotech, AnitaB.org, etc., a variety of organizations that are demographically uniform. And then finally, exploring new ways to engage populations of employees, like our all-women delivery stations in India. It's not in the US, but I think it represents intent. So, in conclusion, if based on the ACLU complaint about Facebook, if based on that we come to the conclusion that it's illegal for a company to purposely choose to advertise in person to a group of people based on their demographics, specifically advertising jobs, then it's likely that Google and Amazon are discriminating illegally.